It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this middle school edition of Science Bowl. 6 outstanding scholars here to play our game. Let's see if you can keep up with them. Let's meet the teams right now. First, from Benjamin Stoddert Middle School, would you please say hello to Ryan Thompson, Sabrina Webb, and Mervin Quadera. And from Thomas Johnson Middle School, say hello to Christian Robinson, Mason Neal, and Marcellus Baylor. And now here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to the difficulty of the questions. The easier questions are over here on the left, worth 5 and 10 points. The tougher ones worth 15, 20, and 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds, we will have a challenger for Drew Freeman. The winner of that game will be one of our 4 semifinalists in this year's middle school competition. Let's make sure everything's working properly. Let's go to the red team. And Sabrina, would you be kind enough to try your buzzer for me? Thank you, young lady. Good luck to you, to Mervin, and to Ryan. And Mason, would you try your buzzer, please? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, and to Christian, and to Marcellus. Are we ready to play?
Yep.
Let's do this. Let's have a good time. And again, we're proud of all of you for being here today. May the better team win. We go alphabetically B before T. So Stoddert and Sabrina, let's play the bowl.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams. There are certain trees that have royal names, like the royal oak. But all trees, it seems, are royalty because all of them wear what at the top of themselves? Sabrina?
Leaves.
Not leaves. Thomas Johnson, all trees must be royalty because they all wear what at the tops of themselves?
Crown.
Crowns, that's right. The top of the tree is called the crown, hence the reference to royalty. Nice comeback, young men. Go again. Mason?
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, if you watch cartoons, you know that elephants are deathly afraid of mice. They're even more afraid of these buzzing insects that can sting them in the eye or go up their trunk. Thomas Johnson.
Bees.
Bees, yes, they're deathly afraid of bees. If they even hear the sound of bees near a hive, they run the other way. Green.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, who knew that our bodies were such quarries? Because these we know can form in your kidneys, in your gallbladder, and they've just discovered recently that they form these hard things in your tonsils. They call them tonsilloliths. What forms in your body in those places? Benjamin Stoddert.
I believe the kidney stones.
Stones, absolutely right. You get kidney stones, gallstones, and tonsil stones. Quarry was your clue there. Nice comeback, young lady. Go Sabrina. Yes, ma'am. You please make the choice.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, they say that when it comes to people, opposites attract. It could be, remember the category, that they have what kind of M-initialed personality? Benjamin Stoddert.
Magnetism?
Magnetism, or a magnetic personality. Absolutely right. Thank you, Mervin. You jumped right on that one. 65 to 60, close game. Go red.
Science Potpourri for 5.
Science Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, listen to this. This is an interesting question. Baby cats are called kittens. Baby dogs are called pups. Baby kangaroos are called joeys. What do you call baby primates for 5 points? Baby primates. All right, Benjamin Stoddert, what do you think?
Apes?
Not apes, no. What do you call a baby primate? Thomas Johnson.
Cub or cub?
Cub, not cub. Who are primates? We are. Monkeys are. Lemurs are. What do you call a baby human? A baby. That's right. The answer was baby. There's no special name. Try again, Green.
Where did you do that? Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, according to the Bible, in the Garden of Eden, Eve was made from one of these 24 caged bones taken, Mason?
Ribs.
A rib, Adam's rib, absolutely right, to make Eve. All right, tie score, 65 all. Mason, choose.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points, teams. It could be a bad winter. Lots of snow, because what weather system in Spanish? It means the little child is coming our way, Thomas Johnson. El Nino, absolutely right. It seems to be an El Nino year. All right. Go again. Green.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, you know, if you put anything like, if you put things on your food that are derived from leaves, those are called herbs. But if you use condiments like pepper or cinnamon or curry, those aren't herbs. Those are what, Sabrina?
Spice.
Spices, yes indeed. Spices are non-leaf parts that we use as seasoning. Go red.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, some homeowners that have very tall trees in their yard try to protect them from damage during electrical storms by putting one of these on the top of the tree. Thomas Johnson, what do they put up there?
A rod.
A rod, absolutely right, a lightning rod to take that and save the tree. Thank you, gentlemen, for your assist of your captain over there. Go Green.
Soup parade for 15.
Soup parade for 15 points. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio, please, for this question, if you would. Back in the 1950s, they made Japanese horror movies, and one of the best was Mothra, a giant moth that attacked Tokyo. What metamorphic stage in Mothra's development are you looking at there? Benjamin Stoddert. Again?
Pupa.
Not the pupa. Good try. Thomas Johnson, what metamorphic stage in Mothra's life are you looking at in that picture?
Larva.
That's the larva, absolutely right. And the buzzer says our first round is over. Our score at this juncture is Benjamin Stoddert 75, Thomas Johnson 95. Good game. We'll be back with more in just a moment. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. We hope you're enjoying this game at home. 6 outstanding young people playing our game today. Let's meet them. Let's go first to Benjamin Stoddert. We have not seen Benjamin Stoddert in many years. It's so nice to have you back on our program. Sabrina, you're doing such a nice job. You and Mervyn and Ryan. Tell us about Benjamin Stoddert. Who's your principal?
Mr. Mark Bickerstaff.
And he is here today, and we're going to meet him in just a few moments. We're so honored that he took time to join us. And who's the sponsor of your team?
We have Miss Pagarigan and Dr. Kumar.
Yes, and Dr. Kumar has actually been here twice as a judge to get himself ready for today, and we appreciate all his support. And Sabrina, were there any alternates on your team?
Yes, we have Kyla and Tamara.
Wonderful, and they'll be out in a little while as well. Tell me about Benjamin Stoddert. It's in the central portion of the county down toward the south, not far from Iverson Mall. And what do you like best about your school?
It's a good learning environment. We have a lot of after-school activities, and it helps us with our education and helps us with the curriculum that we're learning.
Absolutely. You need a good balance. You need curriculum, and then you need extracurriculars as well to kind of make you a well-rounded person. Sabrina, tell me about yourself. What do you hope to do someday?
I have kind of mixed emotions. Either I want to be a forensic scientist or I want to be a professional singer.
And I know you sing now, and I know you're a big fan of CSI. You and Ryan both have your eye on a forensics career, and I think that's wonderful because it requires so much. It's knowledge, it's intuition, it's common sense, and you guys certainly have all of those things. Nice to have you with us today. Mervyn, nice to have you here. Young man who's interested in astrophysics. You've come up with a couple clutch answers already in this game. How do you come by all your science knowledge?
I study a lot.
That is obvious here, and you keep that up. What do you do in your spare time, Mervyn?
I play board games, do experiments, and listen to music.
And listen to music, and you told me you really like to play chess, which is a really challenging game. So you're playing a nice game. You keep it up. Ryan, nice to have you here. Young man who is interested in forensics, criminal justice, and you help your dad around the house. Tell us about what you just did with him. You were working on a picnic table.
Yeah, we were working on 2 picnic tables, just a whole lot of screws, hammers, and drills, and saws.
And you know, anybody can pick those things up, but the proof is whether or not it looks good when you're finished. And did it look pretty good?
Yeah, it looked pretty good.
I bet it did, and that's attention to detail, and that's what you're showing us here today, so you keep up your good game playing. Thomas Johnson, nice to have you guys with us today. Mason, you were here last year, and your experience is showing. You know, you're playing a good game so far. You have a 20-point lead. Tell us about Thomas Johnson. Who's your principal?
Dr. Robinson.
Yeah, Dr. Robinson, I know he's out there rooting for you. And who's the sponsor of your team?
Mr. Sempler and Miss Salcedo.
Yes, and I know they've worked long and hard to get you ready for today, and Mr. Sempler especially has been here as a judge in the past, and we appreciate his efforts. Any alternates on your team?
Yeah, 3, Mark, Derek, and Malik.
All right, we'll meet all those gentlemen in just a few minutes' time. Let me ask you what I asked Sabrina. What is one of the things you brag about when you talk about Thomas Johnson?
It has nice science stuff, like their curriculum for science is like the best thing.
That's great. A lot of hands-on experiments so that it's not just reading from a book, field trips, all kinds of resources. I think that's important. Mason, what do you want to do someday?
Become a lawyer.
A lawyer, wow. Do you like to argue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you win your arguments?
Half the time.
Half the time. All right. Well, that's a pretty good average. It sounds like you might be headed in the right direction. Christian, nice to have you here today. You're interested in being an engineer someday, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. You must be very good at math as well as science, and that's obvious that you're here today. What do you do in your spare time?
I like to read.
You like to read. What kind of books do you like?
Mystery.
Mysteries, yeah. What have you read lately that you really liked?
I don't remember. It was the book.
Nancy Drew?
It was this book called The Labyrinth. The
Labyrinth, okay. That sounds like a good mystery title if I've ever heard one. And Marcellus, nice to have you here today. Young man who aspires to be a football player. You already play for the team in New Carrollton, the Cougars, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. What position you play?
Play fullback.
Fullback. And if you're not playing football, what do you do in your spare time?
I like to play games, get on the computer, just go outside sometimes.
Yeah, just be outside. Sometimes that's the best thing, just to be out there. And your dream team is the New York Giants, right?
Yes.
Someday you'd like to be there. Good to have you on the team today. Let's get back to our game. Thomas Johnson, 95. Benjamin Stoddert, 75. Last correct answer came from the green team. So, Mason, lots of points to give away yet. You pick.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. You know, sometimes leaves have streaks of white in them. Now, that's good because it lets an insect know that maybe that plant is diseased and they'll let it alone. But it's a liability because it keeps that leaf from performing what food-making process? Thomas Johnson.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. There's not enough green in there. Some of the areas are lacking in chlorophyll, so it reduces the efficiency of photosynthesis. Good listening. Good. Go. Green.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, the top dog in any animal population is named for this first letter of the Greek alphabet. That animal is known as the Mason?
Alpha male.
Alpha male, absolutely right. The alpha male, the top male. Good, go.
Science potpourri.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, when the H1N1 flu virus first started, there were outbreaks in different parts of the world. There were epidemics here and there. But now that it is all over the world, it's not just an epidemic, it's a what? Thomas Johnson.
Crisis.
Well, it certainly is a crisis, but what is the term to describe an epidemic that has gone worldwide? Benjamin Stoddert, the epidemic, now that it is worldwide, is known as a what? It's a pandemic. A pandemic is the term I was looking for. Try again, Mason.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, Neil Armstrong got all the press, and he's in the history books. But Buzz Aldrin is also in the history books because he was the second person to do this in space. Thomas Johnson.
Land on the moon.
Again?
Land on the moon.
Not quite. Not quite. Benjamin Stoddert?
Walk on the moon.
Walk on the moon. That's right. He was the second one to walk. He went on that original Apollo mission. All right, red. Nice comeback, Sabrina. Go.
Dateline for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, it was back in 1930 that Venetia Fair, an 11-year-old British girl, who named this planet for the god of the underworld. What planet, Benjamin Stoddert?
Venus.
Not Venus. Venetia Fair, 11-year-old British girl, named this planet for the god of the underworld. What planet was it, Thomas Johnson?
Saturn.
Yes, sir.
Saturn.
Pluto. Pluto. Try again, please. Green.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, if someone is pulled over in their car for DUI, driving under the influence, what 2 bodily tests will confirm or deny that they are over the limit? 2 tests. Anyone going to try? It is the breathalyzer test. You have to breathe, and then it's a blood alcohol level. It's a blood test, and it's a breath test. Try again, green.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, amber is a substance that is derived from what R initial sticky substance that comes out of angiosperms and coniferous trees. What R initial substance turns into amber when it hardens. That would be resin. Resin. We all know about amber from the Jurassic Park movies where we saw those insects entrapped in amber. Try again, green.
Zoo parade.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, recently scientists found the first ever herbivorous arachnids. Wow. What are herbivorous arachnids? Benjamin Stoddert.
Spiders.
More? What do you want to add to it?
Spiders.
Thomas Johnson, recently the first ever herbivorous arachnids. Wow. What were they?
Bugs.
No, you were in the right line. Arachnids are spiders. Herbivorous is plant-eating. Plant-eating spiders. You have to give me the whole thing. Okay, try again, green.
Wow.
You can only ring in once. After you can't come back again, Mervyn, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. All right, come on, Mason, let's get some.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Look at the monitor in the studio, please. Multiple choice question. Let's see how much you know about laboratory glassware. This piece of glassware that is broken in this picture, is it a beaker, a graduated cylinder, or a flask? Thomas Johnson.
A beaker.
No, sir. Benjamin Stoddert, is that a flask, a beaker, or a graduated cylinder?
Flask.
It is a flask, yes indeed. All right, good, go. Red? You pick.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, the French scientist Antoine Lavoisier lost his head at the guillotine just a few months after he discovered this essential gas that is number 8 on the periodic table of elements. Benjamin Stoddert.
Oxygen?
Oxygen, absolutely right. Thank you, Mervyn. Go, red. 120, 120, tie score. Break it. Sabrina.
Let's get physical for 15.
Get physical for 15 points, teams. Umbrophiles, that's U-M-B-R-A. Umbrophiles are astronomers who travel all over the world searching for these shadowy performances. What are they looking for? Umbrophiles, astronomers who travel the world looking for what shadowy events? Eclipses. Eclipses. Try again, please. Judges, who gave us the last correct answer? Was it the red team?
Yes.
It was the red team, yes. Okay, if we could switch that light. Sabrina, please choose.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. It's a multiple choice question. Skin cancer is never good, but the worst kind of skin cancer is which of the following? Lymphoma, scleroderma, or melanoma? Which one is the worst kind of skin cancer, Thomas Johnson?
Melanoma.
Melanoma is right, absolutely right. Deadly. Go, green.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. The big one in that category, teams. A petrified peat swamp forms this kind of fuel that can be anthracite or bituminous. What kind of fuel are we talking about? That would be coal. Coal. Anthracite or bituminous, petrified peat swamp. Try again, please, Green.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points, teams. What M-initialed group of invertebrates includes snails and slugs, clams and oysters? M-initialed. Thomas Johnson.
Mollusk.
Mollusks, absolutely right. Good. You pulled that one out. Nice answer. Got yourself 25. Mason, please.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, the gold standard for identification of human beings may have to be changed because police have discovered that sometimes you can alter this substance in the blood and saliva found at a crime scene. What is that identifier that is the gold standard? Thomas Johnson.
DNA.
DNA, absolutely right. Come on, CSI folks, you should have jumped on that one. Less than 2 minutes. Go Green.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points, teams. Charles Darwin has appeared on stamps around the world hundreds of times. The only scientist who has appeared on more stamps than Charles Darwin is this scientist who was voted the most important man of the 20th century. Thomas Johnson.
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein, absolutely right, has been on more stamps than any other scientist. All right, a minute and a half. Thomas Johnson.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25, the big one in that category, team's multiple choice question. This year's Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to a group of scientists who discovered how proteins are made in cells. Did these scientists study rhizomes, ribosomes, or rumens? Sabrina.
Ribosomes.
Ribosomes, yes indeed. Good answer. Go, young lady.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points, teams. This term came from a play in Czechoslovakia about a factory that created artificial life. What are these machines that act like humans called today? Benjamin Stoddert.
Robots.
Robots. Yes, good. Go.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points, teams. The Leonid meteor showers that peak every 33 years and come every year are actually part of the debris from what tailed heavenly body that goes flying through the sky? Benjamin Stoddert.
Comet?
A comet, that's right, the Temple-Tuttle comet. Last question of the game, body systems for 25 points. Let me, first of all, give you a score update. Benjamin Stoddert is at 195. Thomas Johnson at 205. Almost a dead heat. Our last question, 25 points in the category body systems. Listen carefully, this may and will, in fact, decide our game. The question is as follows. Football players, soccer players, and hockey players sometimes experience what's called chronic traumatic encephalopathy. What is it that they do and can have happen to them during their games that could cause that condition? Be specific. Benjamin Stoddert.
If they kick the ball, if they fracture the shin.
Not fracture their shin, no. Thomas Johnson, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. A risk for soccer players, hockey players, and football players. Why?
Because when they collide with each other, they tear tissues.
The key there was encephalopathy, which refers to the head. You can get hit in the head. You can get a puck, you can hit that ball with your head, or you can crash into someone else. No points, which means Thomas Johnson, by 10 points, is going to be today's winner. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. And welcome back to Science Bowl. I dare say I doubt many of you could keep up with these 6 scholars today. They gave a wonderful performance. Some tough questions, but some tough competitors. And by just 10 points, we have the difference today. They're all winners in my eyes. I know yours too. Our final tally today is Benjamin Stoddert 195, Thomas Johnson 205. Congratulations to Christian and Mason on Marcellus. You guys should be smiling. You won over there. Mr. Sempler, congratulations to you. Ms. Saucedo and the 3 alternates back there. Our shadow team, we've got Mark and Malik and Derek. Congratulations to you. Let's see some smiles here, too. You guys did splendidly. Ryan and Sabrina and Mervyn, you never gave up. I loved all your answers. Mr. Bickerstaff, your principal, is back there. Hopefully he's going to do something nice for you guys. We've got our alternates back there, Tamara, Kyla, and Dr. Kumar, and Mrs. Paga-Reagan. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for being here. See you next time on Science Bowl. Bye now.